Bill Belichick's first game as a college head coach doesn't take place in Chapel Hill. It doesn't take place anywhere in North Carolina or anywhere in the United States, for that matter. It takes place more than 3,000 miles away from campus on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean in Dublin, Ireland. UNC opens its season against TCU this Saturday at Aviva Stadium as part of the Aer Lingus College Football Classic, and the Irish media and fans are treating Belichick's arrival as a legitimate sporting event, not just a curiosity, not just a footnote, an actual marquee moment. And the Irish Times, Irish Star, and outlets across the country have been covering the build-up all week, framing it as American football's biggest current name showing up in their city to coach a college game on Irish soil. 14,000 American visitors are traveling to Dublin specifically for this matchup, and the 47,000-seat Aviva Stadium is expected to be packed, just like it was when Georgia Tech and Florida State drew almost 50,000 fans to the same event a couple of years ago. This is the fifth consecutive year that Dublin has hosted the Aer Lingus College Football Classic at Aviva Stadium, and it's become a reliable Week Zero showcase for American football in Europe. But this year feels different because the headliner isn't just a ranked team or a historic program. It's Bill Belichick, the most recognizable coaching name in American football over the last 2 decades, now coaching college kids instead of NFL pros. For Irish fans who follow American sports, this is their chance to see Belichick in person on their home turf in a context that feels both familiar and completely surreal. Kickoff is set for 5 p.m. Irish time on Saturday, which is noon Eastern in the U.S., and ESPN will broadcast the game with Mike Monaco, Jordan Rogers, and Dana Boyle on the call. It's the first international game ever for both UNC and TCU's football programs, and TCU serves as the designated home team for the matchup. That's a notable detail because the two teams already have recent history. TCU beat UNC 48-14 in last season's opener in Chapel Hill. So this rematch carries a bit of edge, even if it's happening in a completely neutral city, thousands of miles from either campus. Belichick went 4-8 in his first season at UNC, a rebuilding year that set realistic expectations for a program that hasn't been a consistent contender in recent memory. Billy Edwards Jr., a sixth-year transfer quarterback from Wisconsin, will start for the Tar Heels wearing number 9. TCU, meanwhile, went 9-4 under head coach Sonny Dykes in his 5th season, and the Horned Frogs come into Dublin as the more experienced, more polished team on paper. But none of that context changes the fact that Irish media have latched on to Belichick's presence as the story. Take a look at how fans are breaking down the matchup heading into Saturday. That reaction tells you exactly how this game is being framed in Ireland. It's not just another American import event. It's Belichick in Dublin, coaching a college team for the first time in his career at this level, in front of a crowd that's treating it like a genuine spectacle. The Irish sports media ecosystem has covered plenty of American football over the years. Dublin has hosted college games regularly since this series started, and the city was in the running to host NFL international games before the league confirmed in February that there would be no Dublin game on the 2026 NFL schedule. Commissioner Roger Goodell confirmed that decision earlier this year, meaning the NFL's 9 international games this season will be spread across Melbourne, Rio de Janeiro, London, Paris, Madrid, Munich, and Mexico City, but not Ireland. That makes this college game even more significant for Irish fans who want to see American football live. Without an NFL game coming to Dublin this year, the Aer Lingus College Football Classic is the biggest American football event on Irish soil in 2026, and Belichick's presence elevates it beyond what a typical Week Zero opener would draw. The 14,000 U.S. visitors traveling to Dublin for the game represent a real economic and cultural footprint. These aren't just fans flying over for a day trip. They're spending the week in Ireland, filling hotels, booking tours, and turning a single college football game into a broader tourism event. From a strategic standpoint, this game also serves as a clean bridge for channels like ours that are transitioning coverage from the FIFA World Cup this summer to the NFL's international games push in September. Dublin hosting a marquee American football name like Belichick fits directly into the World Reacts to America format that drives this channel's angle, and it doubles as a thematic through line into the next phase of content. The NFL's international slate kicks off in a few weeks. In the broader narrative, American football expanding its footprint globally, international cities treating U.S. sports as major events, and fans around the world reacting to American sports culture stays consistent, whether it's Belichick in Dublin or the NFL in Madrid. The Irish coverage has been notably earnest. There's no ironic distance, no framing of this as a novelty act. The Irish Times ran serious previews of the matchup. Local sports talk shows debated UNC's chances against TCU with the same energy they'd bring to a rugby or soccer preview. Irish fans on social media have been picking sides, debating Belichick's coaching transition, and analyzing whether his NFL pedigree translates to the college game. That's the kind of engagement that makes these international showcases work. Not just curiosity, but actual investment in the storyline. And the storyline here is legitimately compelling. Belichick is one of the most decorated coaches in NFL history, but college football is a completely different ecosystem. Recruiting, transfer portals, NIL deals, managing 18 to 22-year-olds instead of professional veterans. It's a different job, and his first season showed the learning curve. Going 4-8 isn't a disaster for a rebuild, but it's also not the kind of dominant debut that his reputation might have suggested. This season opener in Dublin gives him a chance to reset that narrative, or at least show progress in front of an international audience that's paying attention, specifically because his name is attached. TCU, for their part, comes into this game as a well-coached, experienced team under Sonny Dykes, who's built a steady program in his 5 seasons. The Horned Frogs dominated UNC in last year's opener, and they'll be looking to prove that result wasn't a fluke. But the broader storyline isn't really about TCU. It's about Belichick, about American football in Ireland, and about how a college game can become a legitimate international event when the right name and the right city align. The Aviva Stadium itself is a major part of that equation. It's a modern, purpose-built venue that seats around 47,000 fans, and it's hosted everything from rugby internationals to major soccer matches to these annual American football showcases. The stadium's design and infrastructure make it a natural fit for hosting American sports, and the Irish fan base has shown consistent interest in these events. Almost 50,000 fans showed up for Georgia Tech versus Florida State, proving that Dublin can deliver a real atmosphere for college football, not just a polite curiosity crowd. For UNC and TCU players, this is a once-in-a-career experience. Most college football players never leave the United States for a game. They play in front of home crowds, road crowds, and maybe a bowl game in a different region. But the desire you don't fly across the Atlantic to open a season in a foreign capital. The players who suit up Saturday will remember this game for the rest of their lives, regardless of the outcome, simply because of where it's happening and who's on the sideline. For Irish fans, this is their chance to see Belichick in person, coaching live in a context that feels accessible. They're not traveling to Foxborough or Los Angeles or Dallas to catch an NFL game. The game is coming to them in their city, in their stadium, with their local media covering it like it matters. That's the core appeal of these international sports events. They flip the usual dynamic where American fans are the default audience and international fans are the niche. In Dublin this Saturday, the Irish crowd is the primary audience, and the American teams are the visiting spectacle. Saturday's kickoff is less than 48 hours away. Belichick's UNC debut an ocean away from Chapel Hill in front of an Irish crowd that's treating it like a genuine sporting event. It's the kind of moment that captures exactly why American sports are expanding internationally and why cities like Dublin are willing to invest in hosting these showcases. The game itself will determine whether Belichick starts his second season with a statement win or another learning experience. But the fact that it's happening in Ireland with this level of local media coverage and fan interest is the real story, and it's a story that leads directly into the next chapter of this channel's coverage. The NFL's international games kick off in September, and the same dynamic American football traveling to global cities, local fans reacting, international media framing it as a major event, will play out in Melbourne, London, Paris, Madrid, Munich, and beyond. Belichick in Dublin is the preview. The NFL's international slate is the main event, and the through line connecting them is simple. The world is paying attention to American football, and American football is showing up.